Hello everybody, it's the husband and today we are again in the Poxnora platform looking for a duel to spectate. And we got today Apis against Rest 4, both Forsaken Waste faction Undead guys, with Rest having the exception of having both the Undead and Demon faction combined. So it's Apis' turn. He planted a stealth unit Shadow spawned, invisible from the opponent, so he could not see the movement of the zombie minion moving towards the strategic points later on. On Rest 4 turns, he is taking his time to make a decision what to do, maybe reading the abilities of Apis planted Mute Stalker, because Rest 4, as we see, is a high rank, gained the experience and gained the skills of a real veteran. He does not want to make any mistakes, so following almost 1 minute he's still making his decision on what's the best choice against the zombie faction while you're playing a similar one. He deployed a Scorched Dwarf, a Nora Miner, and a Rip Witch. So we have an Possessed Dwarf that mines Nora to boost the economy, and the Rip Witch, an Undead Witch that really can hit you from afar. So the Witch is dangerous, the Dwarf is not, but he boosts the economy. Interesting choice, Rest 4 made, and now it's Apis' turn, so he's reading the abilities of these champions to know what he is up against and what will be this battle, what will make it special. So, Apis moves the stealth Mute Stalker towards the strategic point Nora found to gain more resource. And now he's thinking what kind of second unit to plan, because he needs to capture the other font strategic point on the northern side, as we see. So, best to plant not an expensive guy, and at the start you don't have many cards to choose from, so it's really a hard decision. But since Apis saw that Rest 4 planted a witch that can strike you from a kilometer, he responded the same, planted a dead fairy that can strike you from a very far distance also. So it's Rest's turn. He's capturing one of the strategic points. The dwarf does not have enough energy to move that fast, needs more time. Apis' turn, he has a strategic point also, capturing the other one, goes to the middle. Rest 4, time for you to move, so let's see what this guy will do now. Dwarf is moving towards the bottom strategic point to boost the economy more, and the witch is moving towards the center because Apis' Mute Stalker has captured the font. So Rest 4 planted the relic to not let Apis have that font, because whatever is on the font zone will prevent you from having this font belonging to you. And also Bone Elemental planted a very strong tanky unit, so Rest 4, as we can see from this action, is preparing to rush and contest from the font. So it's Apis' turn. He's boosting the Shrine Scry, wants more cards to be shown, more options to be available, and is making a decision how to counter this Bone Elemental, because he needs a strong unit that can survive this and also be effective against the Rip Witch. Planting a Necrotaur, a diseased dragon who can spray you from afar with a disease breath and also fight close combat. Good call from Apis. He's moving the Mute Stalker further. Mute Stalker is invisible from the opponent's eye, so he can do the action without no problem. And Rest 4's turn, he is figuring out, reading the Necrotaur abilities, also seeing what Apis planted to counter his own units. So, the Rest 4 is sending the dwarf closer. He's a supportive unit, cannot do much, but probably threatened to steal the Fervor Western font from Apis. And he's doing a Shrine Scry, maybe he wants to cast a spell or something else. So let's see what Rest 4 will do with the other guys right now. And one girl, Rip Witch. Bone Circle Archmage. A very not strong but universal unit, I would say. This mage has over 5 abilities, so he can do a lot of confusing trouble for the enemy. Summon skeletons, reduce the damage of the opponent's champions, and control who they attack. So a very dangerous unit. Not by damage, but by abilities, by the ability amount. Appa's turn. He's sending the Mute Stakel further because the Mute Stakel is invisible, and on his own side, keeping the Necrotorrent very close in case anybody from the enemy arrives closer. And also planted the dragon, as you saw. He is a good close combat fighter, so will be good counter against the Bone Elemental if Rast 4 threatens to come closer. Now Appas is thinking he will plant a weak zombie just to step on the font in case the dwarf decides to come close and steal the font, the strategic point. So, Rast 4's turn. Nora is being mined by the dwarf and he's reading the abilities of Appas Draco Lich. Moving further is Bone Circle Archmage, so as I predicted, Bone Elemental is being sent closer. Fire Blast on Appas units. He hurts these guys, he wants to take them out. What else he will do? Fire is not enough. Moving the Rip Witch closer. Can he take out the Dead Fairy? Is that what he wants to do? Probably that, because he does not want Appas to counter Rast 4 on the distance, because you see he wants to have that witch attacking Appas units and wants to Appas to have no counter. But Appas still will have the dragon, so another spell cast more damage, wasting his resource. Rast 4 really wants that fairy dead, does not like it, which is actually pretty funny. Spending that much resource just for one champion to die. So Appas' turn, planting a War Banner, damage boost. Figuring out how to counter this attack. Mute Stalker has the upper hand, he's invisible, he can really take that witch out with the right decisions. So is that what Appas wants to do? Let's see what's going to happen. How is the calculation being done? Appas is calculating how much damage he can do and what is the best decision. Let's see it unfold. And how will Appas complete this chain combo? Blasting Corpse Catapult. Flowing a corpse. Disease Breath on the Rip Witch. Damaging her. Much health removed and now Mute Stalker can go for a finisher. Take her out. Oh, nearby units feared of the Mute Stalker. He's pretty safe for now. Now what about the Bone Elemental? How will Appas do that? Spraying Disease Breath, hurting the Bone Elemental and healing the Necro Tower. Nice call by Appas, moving Festering Corpse closer, so Rast 4 just lost a very strong unit. More so, a unit that can attack from afar. And Rast 4 is moving closer for the counter. The Archmage can destroy summoned units, so the corpses go down. Took them out, cleaned the middle font a little bit. Bone Elemental is not backing down, which is a wrong decision, because 2 dragons can take out that Bone Elemental no problem. Moving the Dwarf as distraction for the Mute Stalker, because that Mute Stalker can outsteal the fonts of the enemy. So, Rast 4 needs as many units to block that Stalker from moving closer, cause he's a dangerous guy. Demonologist planted, he can shoot from afar, middle ground, so Rast 4 wants to take Mute Stalker out. Now, Bone Elemental retreating a few spaces to get healed by the relic Nefari exchange market that we see. But that won't help. Appas has many units planting Risen yet debuffing the enemy, everybody cowering in fear. Corpse pulled. Deciding where to flow the corpse, Appas wants to do some damage, hurting the Demonologist. What else can Appas do at this moment? Go to that font or this font, because he needs to really distract the enemy, lessen their economy, and you gotta steal strategic points for that. Draco Lich moving closer, attacking the Bone Elemental. Very much damage done. Bone Elemental summons lesser Bone Maulers, weak skeletons, that's not really a problem, because they are pretty weak. And Appas decides to go to the font, plant a relic, and this font will not belong to Rast 4 now. Rast 4 will lose economy. So it's a good call. Deciding to keep the moving correct, and the dragon is going to kill the lesser Bone Mauler, summoning a Festering Corpse, so it's a good counter summon tactic. Now, Appas side can really counter the bone elemental, no problem, because wherever the skeletons come, they will turn into zombies and belong to Apis. Rest, destroying the summon with the demonologist. The relic is still there, he cannot get economy from that, still a problem. Dwarf hitting with Stalker, barely doing any damage because of the debuff from the Risen Yeti scare. Archmage standing in one place, what else will you do now? Rest 4. Still got many problems at the middle. And Rest 4 decides to offer a draw, which is a very disrespectful decision, because as soon as you start losing, you don't offer a draw, you either surrender or you continue to fight on. So Rest 4 has a high rank, didn't want to feel the pity of losing to a low rank called Apis, so he offered to draw, very disrespectful, and of course Apis did not agree, because this is time consuming, you know. You do this duel, you spend time, and to get no reward from that is absolutely outrageous. If you're losing, you need to surrender or continue fighting, the only option. And Rest 4 showed a very disrespectful gesture, which shouldn't have happened. If you lose, you should surrender, which eventually Rest should do if we cannot continue fighting. So let's see. What goes on now? Will Rest continue fighting or will he leave? Come on. The Corpse Flinger. Who will Apis take out to really make Rest 4 surrender? He's going for the Bone Elemental. Come on. And he made Rest 4 surrender. High rank is defeated. Apis got a good quality reward from that. So, thank you all for watching. Poxnora is renewed. The design is a lot better. And if anybody wants to play this game, it is free on Steam. So, bye bye for now.